now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics.
Ginger.
Yeah, is it time to say something?
Look at the camera.
Oh, hi. Okay, hi.
Quit playing with your paper dolls over there.
I got so engrossed in just trimming out the paper today that I just realized that time goes by, and here we are. So welcome everybody to our fun live filmed
live before a studio audience.
That's it. That's what I wanted to say. And you know, we're going to be having a really good time tonight. We've got, besides this fantastic tutorial, acrylic tutorial on this vase of roses, done by our old dead guy, Charles Curran, who was an American artist.
Charlie.
Who lived in the late 1800s, died I think around 1940 or something. But he was, there are a lot of American artists people don't like to, don't talk about. And I was very drawn to this one because of the colors of this turquoise blue vase and these pale pink, almost surreal looking flowers. I'm sure that I never had a flower that looked like that in my life. I've probably seen a few, but I thought they were pretty, so I think you're going to think they're pretty too. And then besides that, in the last few weeks, we've been running a contest for everybody, and where we did the scream, what makes you scream. We did that video about 3 weeks ago. And now we're going to give away the actual, at the end of this lesson, we're going to do a drawing for the scream. And if you entered, you might be a winner. And then for those of you guys who are watching live tonight, exclusively for our live audience, we've got a special Halloween painting that I have done, and someone's going to win that. So it should be a fun evening. We're going to answer lots of questions, and I'm going to make this really easy for you. We gave you a printout of the on our Pinterest page, where you can go over there and just print out an 8x10 copy of this and transfer it on if you want using Sorel transfer paper. That's what I'm going to do. Should be fun. I think we're going to have a good time. So John, let me just show everybody what we're painting today. Are we down? No?
Wait.
What happened? What happened?
Oh, okie dokie.
What you keep saying these things like, what are we not on? Are we on? What happened?
Well, we're more or less on.
Well, less than what? Less than what and more than what?
More than not, and yet less than...
Did we have no sound? That whole thing?
I don't know. I'm sure we have sound. People haven't been complaining.
Okay.
Nope. How do we sound, guys? We've been playing with the microphones on our last hurrah, so I think we're getting set up again.
And for those of you who are members of our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, I've got to show you the new releases that are going to come out in a couple of weeks. They are amazing. There'll be the big unveiling of that. This is an exciting show. So have you put the...
I need to get some popcorn and make a night of it.
I know. You got popcorn? You didn't say. Okay. So here's our vase. So don't you love the turquoise blue kind of colors with this pale pink and peach colors? The shadow colors are in sort of tones of peaches, all right? So we started off with an 8x10 canvas that we've got just painted dark brown, okay? It's not going to be the final color. See these little bits of burnt sienna and stuff in there. And we've got a black and white image of what I painted. Now, I originally freehanded this on, and here's the actual, I didn't trace it on, I actually freehanded it on because I had to make it fit 8x10. Here is his actual piece, and I just left out this flower down here. But I think I got pretty close. This one needs to be a bit darker, but I think I got really close for just freehanding it in. So anyhow, we're going to just spare you all that and just let you take a moment, and we'll just show you a quick way to get an image from one place to another. So we'll just focus on the painting. And those of you who are a part of our Facebook club, which is we have a number of members that watch us regularly, and you probably know that John just had surgery a few days ago, and we didn't go live yesterday because he just wasn't up to it, and he's feeling up to it today. But I don't want to push it. How's that? Does that make sense? So we're gonna I'm just gonna slip this under there, like that, and tape this down a little bit, and just line this up. This is such a fun painting, I think. So while I'm doing that, why don't I answer some questions, John?
Well, you can only answer questions if they are asked.
Nobody's asking any questions? I'm shocked.
Well, it just started. There's only 350 people watching.
Oh, hi. Well, you guys, somebody asked us a question today, wrote in and asked me a really good question. I had no idea what the answer was. You know, that happens. But did you know? Well, you didn't because I haven't told you yet, but now you know. But did you know?
No, they don't know yet because you haven't said it yet.
I haven't said it yet, that's right. But Daniel Elliott is going to be on our show next Monday night, and he's going to be talking about how to sell and price your artwork, things artists need to be wary of, things you might want to know about selling your artwork and putting it in shows, is, you know, what you can expect from art galleries, all kinds of questions like that, okay? And why that is so way cool is because Daniel is currently, of course, exhibiting his artwork in Houston, and he's done this for a number of years. And so he also is very familiar. He's probably, I think, one of the leading experts on art materials, to all kinds, from oil paints to everything, to pastels. And he really is. He worked at the manager of Jerry's for 7 years, and he's been painting for years. And he really does have a handle on art materials and what they do. And this one person had, what was the question she wanted to know?
She had got some canvas from a friend that had been gessoed with silver and gold, you know, different canvases. And the artist at that time had sketched on it with a graphite pencil. And she took her tub of towels and tried to get off the graphite as much as she could. And then she wants to know, without it bleeding, she wants to know, should she put an isolation coat on or something? She doesn't want to lose the gold and the silver that's already been gessoed. So she goes, should I use a clear gesso? Should I varnish it? What should I do? Or should I just go for it?
Well, I mean, again, Daniel answered that. I know, for instance, there's a product called Kills, which somebody pencils on your wall. That's the only thing that keeps it from bleeding through. It's not clear, however.
No,
so, you know, I mean, there's that, you know, it just isn't, okay? So, as sad as
my guess is you're going to do an isolation layer or probably clear varnish. I'd probably use matte.
I don't know that clear varnish would do it. It still could show through, but you should try. What you ought to do when you have something like that, take a little canvas piece, not the one you're trying to save, take some small piece of canvas and scribble on it with a pencil and try some different stuff and see what works. This to me is a very satisfying solution to do all kinds of things, yes, but however, how did I do with this, by the way? Did I get all this on here? Let's see, oh, it's close enough. I think I can make it from there, you guys.
I think I can make it from there. Evie would like to know, how long can I wait to varnish?
Well,
I'm
listen,
a varnish procrastinator.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter. You can varnish 2 or 3 years. Doesn't really matter. I like to use Liquitex medium and varnish, and you know, eventually you've got to varnish it. And if you wait too long, it's got dirt on it, so you better clean it off. And the reason you varnish is so if it gets dirt, you can clean it off easily. So there's sort of a catch-22. You know, if the dust gets in there, and you use a damp rag to wipe the dust off, and then, you know, depending on the kind of paint you use, you could take paint off too. So, better for me, I like to varnish right away.
What grid sandpaper do you use on canvas? We use 320, 600, the very fine, extra fine. And would you recommend any art books?
Yeah, I have a great art book I tell everybody to get, and it's particularly good on, there's a couple of them. There's one on Amazon. If you go to my Pinterest page, it says Books I Recommend. All right, and under my Pinterest board, Ginger Cook Live, and you'll see one of the boards says Books I Recommend, and one of the books I recommend, there's one that's a color, it almost looks like a cookbook. It's got the plastic spiral bound on the back, and it's probably not as wide as this canvas and about this tall, probably about like yay, and it's skin and eye colors mixing recipes for watercolor, acrylic, and oil. I thought that was a very handy. Skin tones and eye color and hair color, okay? I don't know, we get a lot of people that, ask about that, so I think that would be extremely handy, don't you think? Incidentally,
Extremely.
here is the painting that we're going to be drawing for tonight, for everybody that's been in that contest. And you can't, if you're just now looking at it, you can't enter this one.
Nope.
It's been closed. It was closed like on the 18th, I think, huh?
It was closed when it was supposed to be closed.
Whenever it was supposed to be closed, it's closed. But we have a whole bunch of entries for that. But you can, if you're watching live, still enter for my holiday Halloween picture, which is actually a lesson in our art academy. And this is one of what I call my Pumpkin Patch Kids. She's on her tricycle with the crows and everything. And this will be for the live audience tonight. So those are the two contests that we've got going. How's that?
That is an original piece.
Really
it goes
cool.
back to day one.
And, I just think it's a neat painting. I hope you guys like it. I really thought it was, great fun. And let's see, we're going to put out some colors now. We've moved the palette over here. So they're not in the order you're normally used to seeing, but it's
We just thought we'd mix you up.
So, we're going to, because we got to kind of keep it on this. Here's a ruler. We got to kind of keep everything kind of this way to the left, and that's where the camera can pick it up.
Oh, here's a great question from Susan.
Hi, Susan.
On the Academy, what do the different versions mean? When I'm looking for version 1, version 2, version 3, I'm not sure what it means.
What does it mean, John?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We had version 1 is how they were laid out in each of the videos. If it was like a 5-part video, you had to go to 5 separate pages. And then we went to version 2, which put them all into one tab. And then we found a better way to make it even smoother, which is version 3, and they're all being upgraded to version 3.
Wow. And
once it's all done, version 1, version 2 will be gone, version 3 won't be mentioned anymore, and it'll all be nice and clean. I'm hoping by the end of the year I have hired some help to help get this accomplished.
Yes. So
we're putting it up to the top priority of things to get done on the website.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really.
That's a great question.
Great question. And also, you may on our Pinterest board, on I think it's the third board in, it's the paintings I've done either on YouTube or in the Academy by category, like fall paintings, animals, water, landscapes, garden, flowers in pots, flowers in vases. I mean, you can't believe how many paintings we've done. Over 1,000 paintings are on that board, on that page somewhere, But the thing of it is that there's a new section, and it's called retired paintings.
Ooh.
And there
Don't
are
go
some
in panic mode.
there are some art lessons right now that are retired. And the reason was those were done on our original $300 camera, and they're very antiquated. And they either nobody was painting them, or someone says, "Oh, I wish I was going to do that someday." Well, some days passed, friends. Should have been a member and should have joined now, or done it when you had a chance, because we're not doing those anymore. However, so phthalo green over here.
Now, some of the older ones we will be redoing because we like them. It's a good lesson.
We like them. We're just going to redo them, and some we're not redoing at all.
Yes, some are just
And
silly.
one I was going to, for sure, just toss it out. Somebody just sent in a pack on it today and said, "This is so beautiful. I'm going to do it 18 by 24. I'm going, "Oh no, don't do it bigger. It was 6 by 8. Please don't do it bigger." Oh, good Lord, no! Don't do it bigger. I'll make a bigger one. Please don't do it. So you can't always win for losing here. Got to put a couple of these. This is magenta. I'm going to do it in a couple of spots. Okay. And let's see. We got a little bit of burnt sienna. This is burnt sienna here. I think I'll put that right here. Yeah. Oh, isn't this fun? Come on, we're putting out some colors. It's all very nice. We're doing that. So this is we're always trying to, refine and teach. And one of the things that you want to look for, we've had it comments both from our YouTube audience and from our Academy members, is that at least one video a month on YouTube, and on also a new video in our Academy, which is the Academy members get exclusive videos, will be for the busy artist. We try to keep it to 30 to 40 minutes max, and so you can watch it and really.
We did one. It's pushing an hour, but it is a fun one. I mean, she's showing you something really different. I freaked out. Being a sock folder, I'm filming it with her, and she goes, "Let's do this time." And I go, "Are you nuts?" But she did it. I can't tell you what it is. I mean, you got to wait to see this lesson.
Well, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you, and I'll be
But don't
pleasantly
tell them what you
surprised.
did.
No,
No,
because
secret.
it's just, you won't believe it. So that's ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, burnt umber, burnt sienna, phthalo green, dazzling purple.
Hey, do we
Cad
get a
red
heads up on
medium.
which lessons are going to be retired? It depends if we're on a whim or not.
No, sorry. This is, no, you don't. No heads up, sorry. We're just, they're just,
Oh, cruelty to animals.
they're mostly just the one cookie. You know, some of the real
It's the
old
older
one
one
cookies.
cookies. The stuff you guys,
You know.
you should have done it by now. If you haven't, we're sorry.
We've got
if they're
other
good
stuff.
enough, they're going
We've
to be
replaced
redone.
it. So, you know, and the pictures there in Pinterest, so you can always look at it. If you're now up to 3 cookies, you should be able to look at the picture and do it anyway. Okay. All right. So now we've got a vase here. We've got a table, and we've got our outline of our flowers. And so to make let's take an angle brush. Here's a 3/8 inch angle brush. I like those for that.
Are you using burnt sienna?
Yeah, burnt sienna right there.
I was watching an older YouTube. You said you can make burnt sienna. How do I do that?
Well, if I wanted to make burnt sienna, I'd take a little bit of dazzling purple and a bunch of cad red medium. And there you go. That's how I'd make burnt sienna. See that?
So that was cad red and what?
Cad red and dazzling purple. Look at that. See?
That's all it took?
Yeah, see? There's burnt sienna. Well, look at that. You're going, ooh.
You are just so good.
All right, so now I'm just going to have to put that up here now because I just mixed that paint. I'll just do it up here for now. Got to clean the brush. I don't feel like putting it in the
I love these new
in the
questions.
water, right? That's a good question. All right, so I'm going to rinse the brush now. That we'll start again here.
What?
So people have said, I want to say everybody, John's feeling much better. For those of you who are being too polite to ask,
You're too polite to ask. Everybody's been asking. I'm doing much better, thank you. Not 100% yet, but I can give Ginger a run for her money tonight.
All right, so here's a little bit of phthalo blue and white and a little bit of yellow. Okay, and that makes that sort of a really pretty sort of turquoise blue color. I'm just going to come on up here like this and just start a coat of this on our vase like that. I like a bright color for this. I think one of the reasons I enjoy so much doing some of these old dead artist flower arrangements is that they pick colors in a million years I wouldn't pick. I mean, like, I just wouldn't think about, doing these pink flowers. They really remind me of the kind of flowers I used to like on cakes and to eat, frosting roses, but that's okay. And now I've got a little bit of the ultramarine blue while this is still wet. Brush strokes are going to go down like that. We're going to start streaking this a little bit like this. Now we'll take a little bit of white, put it on here, and lighten this side up because the light's coming from that direction. Okay. So my granddaughter gave me permission to talk about her birthday yesterday. She turned
really?
14. Yeah, she got permission. We're not mentioning kids' names, but she really had a rough time. She and her friends went out for an outing, and I think everybody's had, when you're a kid, everybody's had one of those birthday parties where just, you thought you had friends and they turned out at that age to just not have any kind of filter, just saying an old thing. So I was sorry to hear that. But it's her birthday today, so I'm going to wish her happy birthday anyway.
Happy
honey.
birthday.
Happy birthday to Honey, and we're sorry that that happened. I mean, it's stuff like that does sometimes. All right, here's some white, and let's just get down to the business of painting in some flowers. What do you guys think about that? So we're going to start with a little bit of white and magenta, right, and a little yellow, and make a peach color. We're going to just start here. We'll just work on this flower. How's that? Okay, you guys up for that? We're just going to work on this flower, and I'm just leaving a little area here that I have to, I know this is going to be a little darker. Rather than get too confusing, I'm just going to paint one flower in at a time. That way, or at least to start them out. This is sort of our underpainting, right? And I want to do that first. Oh, I think that was flower. Well, sorry, vase. That was flower. That's all right. There you are. Okay?
That's close enough.
Close enough. And then I'm going to put a little bit of white down here, like that, a little bit lighter color. Okay. Now we've got another, okay, now let's see, what happened to this one? Oh yeah, we're going to come up here. We're still in our peach, And the way you're going to tell what is just not, try to just do one petal at a time and just kind of get some different shapes going, right? I mean, that's a pretty good shape for that flower. Now I'm going to just leave that one alone and let that dry. And I'm going to come up and work on this one.
Can
And
I ask you a question?
Sure.
Hi, Ginger. What is your opinion on iridescent paints? Would you rank them next to the circus green?
Well, it depends what you're painting. I mean, the thing is, it's not fair. Really, even circus green has its place. Okay, so much of this depends so much on what you're painting. And for instance, the best iridescent paints are made by Holbein. A lot of times, what people don't realize is there's a longevity issue with iridescent paints. They may not. Here's a little kind of tangerine color. They may not last. All right. And I put that tangerine color over here too. Okay. How cool is that? Where else could I put it? Well, maybe I'll start over on this flower with this darker petal. So the thing about it is that, you know, I think that they've got the Holbeins up to about 7 years before the paint won't disappear. It'll still be paint. It just won't be iridescent anymore. Some of the ones you buy in the market, if you get a year out of them, you'll be lucky. So that, if that answers your question. So they're not all archival, but, you know, what are you painting with them? You know, that's, you know, I mean, I think that's the, you know, the big question, what you have to ask yourself. I think I need my
Here's a good
sample.
question.
Yeah.
Are you retiring some of the VLL or YouTube lessons or both?
The VLL, some of the VLL. Not the YouTube.
There's a couple of YouTubes that we are.
There are some YouTubes that are
will
going too, but we just don't have time to think about it.
Settle into the sunset.
Yeah, then we won't probably replace them.
When, if ever, do you use Persian blue?
You know, I have an Adventures in Blue, and I think it depends on the artist. You know,
What
I
color
do
is Persian
something.
blue?
I don't know. You'd have to look at my Adventures in Blue. I mean, it's not a color I buy. So, see, this is a little browner. This one. So we're changing tones now, almost a burnt sienna color.
Stormy skies are great for Persian blue, says Wendy.
Well, okay. Well, so Wendy likes it for that, and Wendy says she uses it for skies. This is why you want to be a member of our Facebook club. You know, we have over 5,000 members, and they're all, most of them are artists. I'd say 90% of them are artists. And like a group like that, there's bound to be 10 or 12 people, well, Wendy's a member, of course, but of people that have used that color and maybe have a great use for it. You don't know. My friend Sylvia Federosa in Australia, another one of my friends I've never met, she comes up with some of the most unusual paintings, and I'm saying, and really great imagination. I'm not being snarky at all. Well, maybe a little bit. No, not really. And anyway, Sylvia might use it. She might know. So if you remember our Facebook club, you could then just write that question out, and you'd probably have 20 answers. And then, of course, Daniel will be here Monday, and he probably uses it, right? Just wouldn't be surprised me in the least, because he uses a complete different palette than I do.
Oh, he does, definitely.
And that might be one of his favorite colors, and he'd say, well, I use it all the time. I'm not putting words in Daniel's mouth. I don't know what he uses or doesn't use, but I'm saying it's possible, right? So that's the fun thing about art. I use phthalo blue, green shade, and I use ultramarine blue and dazzling purple, pretty much all the colors, a little bit of magenta, and sometimes I'll use phthalo green if it's an old dead artist, and I've been known to use black if I'm doing an old dead artist and I see that that's what they did to get that dark value, okay? So I've been known to do that. See how these are all starting to come together now?
They're looking beautiful.
So, I mean, it's just we're talking, I'm just doing kind of paint, this is sort of, each sort of petal is getting, you know, painted at a time like that. And this, I mean, I think this is kind of fun.
Do you have a scratchy throat tonight?
Do I?
Well, they say I sound better than you do.
Really? Well, certainly I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I don't know.
Well, she had an allergy attack earlier when we were filming, so my guess is probably a little bit.
Well, here's the thing about that allergy business, you know. We opened the windows. What a mistake, right?
Well,
you know, you're so excited to get, you know, not have air conditioning anymore, and then, you know, it's cool enough not to have to worry about air conditioning. So you just keep adding colors to this, right? And the same thing here. See how we just keep layering? I'm just layering colors in here, happily layering colors. I'm going in these magenta colors. Well, they're sort of fun, right?
How many cookies is this lesson?
What this one is probably, well, I'm gonna make, you gotta trace it on, or, freehand it in, or whatever. I think that it's about layering, so it certainly isn't a coloring book. Okay, how's that?
All right, so it's probably 1.5 to 2.
1.5 to 2. We're trying to do anything too hard here. Besides, I like the pretty vase. Didn't you guys like this vase? I thought this vase was so pretty. I have to say, I just love all the colors in this, all the peaches and the pinks, and I just thought it was pretty, really pretty. And it's important to know that you don't start with the white stuff first, right? You just, there's a lot of colors. There's peach and oranges in this, tangerine colors, which you can get with making yellow and white, and cad red medium makes a nice tangerine color. I mean, there's some great depth of colors in this picture, and it's all, you just achieve it all by layering. I'm going to put that in, so I'm just looking to see where I'm putting the darks and the lights, and you just never know, do you? Here's a little bit of dark color, and it's going to just darken that right there, and it's, I'm not trying to bounce around too much on you, but there is going to be probably a little bouncing, simply due to the fact that when I see a pink, then I see, where else can I put the pink? Where else can I put this color? Where else can I put that color? That to me is the fun part of painting. Something like this, it's very relaxing. It's like doing a puzzle, and you can reshape things. Let's see, what did we have coming out here like that? Maybe something like that. And the lights and the darks on this were astounding to me. The beautiful light colors and the dark colors in the center here. And try not to just overpaint it. Keep it a little loose. Just do a few strokes and see how that goes, right? Because this is kind of nice when you just don't get too nuts with it. All right, so that's drying. Rather than let's go back into, take a little phthalo green, phthalo blue, and a little bit of white. Ooh, isn't that pretty? That's a cool color. Let's put some of that in here, like that, on our vase. Start putting some of that color in here. Maybe a little more phthalo green here. This is what we talk about when we talk about layering. So,
Chris would like to know, sometimes you introduce a surprise color. Mm-hmm. When you introduce a surprise color, how do you know what one to pick?
Well, generally a surprise color would be a complement to the main thing you're painting. It would be a complementary color. Like the surprise of turquoise would be would be orange. So maybe you'd have just some pure bright orange somewhere. Okay. So that's one thing. Now we're going to add a little yellow to this. Make a green. Come on up here like this and start pulling in some green. Now, if you put a tiny bit of magenta in the green, you'll tone it down so it's not quite so bright. I thought that this painting was pretty because the colors were bright, and they had this, they had these beautiful kind of turquoisey blue, leaves, green leaves. I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was really pretty. Here's a little bit lighter blue that goes back up in here, that sort of tucks up in here, a little tucking up here.
Jackie would like to know, can we have a Christmas painting so I can send them as cards?
Yes, you can, but did you look at the ones that we already have that we've done the last couple of years, all the Christmas? We've got tons of them on YouTube.
Tons?
Tons. We have tons of, and we've got a lot of winter paintings. I mean, we really do.
Yeah, but what about that new one you just did?
Oh, where'd that go? Oh, yeah, so I got a couple, all right? This is going to be a YouTube lesson coming up. It's not sure when, the next week or two. Here it is, our little snow-covered bridge and lantern, a little park, kind of mountain scene. Yes. And in the Academy, we have just finished filming. You guys, check this out: our winter streetcar. Ooh, right?
Fans love it.
So isn't that just great? And this is really, I thought this is fun. So this is going to be a release for the Academy real soon, and that's good. And remember, if you just wanted to join the Academy for 1 week and paint this, you could. Okay. So anyway, that's some stuff coming up. All right, you're with me on all that, right? So let's do a little bit of darker leaf here, and let's see, we've got some darker greens in here. And we have some greens down this way. They're pretty dark, so I'll put a little ultramarine blue into the phthalo green. And just sort of say that there's our dark greens coming down this way. It wasn't clear on in his picture what happened with all his greens. They just sort of melted into the vase. I don't know if the camera wasn't very good. This is in a private collection. It's not in a museum you can go see somewhere, which would have been nice. So while that's drying, let's go back up here and play with our Cad Red Medium and a little bit of purple, and start with putting some dark kind of burnt sienna colors down here.
If you wanted to change the background color, seeing how that's what you're working on, what would you suggest?
Well, listen, you need something dark for the contrast, right? So, I mean, I'd keep it, very, very dark. You could do a dark blue, might be pretty. Dark blue would be very pretty. Dark, but it would be, you'd want it dark.
Definitely has to be dark, or otherwise it's going to be very flat image.
Yeah, and then so, but blue, I don't think I'd go green.
Did Ginger like the painting that Alicia did?
Oh, Ginger is just madly in love. For those of you who don't know who Alicia Hugh is, she's an artist that lives in Macau, China, and she became one of our Academy members and started, learning to paint, fine art acrylics for me a little over a year ago. And just had done a little bit with cinnamon before that. And I'll tell you what, she has mastered the art of portrait paintings in just an extraordinary way. So impressed with that. And as a gift, she gave me a portrait she did a portrait of me. John and her kind of cooked it up between the two of them, and which I thought was extremely nice. Kind of neat here, put a little bit of brown. And when it dries, I told her she's got a show coming up at a big venue next year, and can't wait to have the painting. But on the other hand, if she needs it, it's not that easy to do oil paints, because here's the thing: they take a long time to dry, and they take a long time to do. And so I told her if she needed to hang on to it for a little bit before she sent it, that would be okay too. I would understand that, because she might need it for her show. So there's a little bit of purple next to our vase here, like that. So all right, so you can see there's our background color. So I'm letting that dry. You guys want to see something really cool? Hmm?
Sure.
Woo! Okay.
I want to see something really cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm going to show you this.
I'm thinking of a tractor in the snow, as Zoe says. I'm with you, Zoe.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for my tractor.
No tractors in the snow, friends. Okay, so I wanted to just tell you some new things that we're doing for our some of the one cookie lessons that we're replacing for our new Academy members. I want you to see this. This is called Red Rock Lake.
Now, this is the one I was talking about.
And I teach you to paint this
differently
in a way that you never would think. This is so cool. This lesson is filmed. It will be released one of these weeks. And then John and I travel. I'm just letting all this dry. John and I travel a lot, and you can't stay in the studio and get inspired. I mean, you can only look at so many photographs on, and Pinterest and all the different things that you've got to get out and see the world and be inspired by it. And so that's one of the things that John and I at our age try to do, is, as much as possible, whenever possible. We might need to do all kinds of things at the house, so we just let all that go and just take off when we can, right? I mean,
we have priorities.
We have priorities, and trust me, a new dishwasher isn't it, okay? So anyhow, when we were in Cozumel, we rented a carriage, and a guy came with it and drove the horsey around.
So we didn't have to do that part of it.
And John was able to, because we could tell him to stop the horse, a cab, by the time they stopped, the photograph's way back there. So anyway, he took us through the old side streets, and this is called Cozumel Hacienda. This is an Academy lesson that's coming up soon. How fun is that?
Love that one. Hour and a half.
Yeah, I think that's really, really fun, and kind of we didn't have anything like that at all. This sort of old adobe-looking home with the flowers and everything, and so that is one of our newest Academy lessons. But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's still more. Are you kidding me?
No, there's more. I'm going to just move this for a second, because I think that this is probably, as soon as John can get this edited, this is filmed, right? I have the small one, which is, 9 by 12, but then we turned around and did it 18 by 24 also, okay? So it's huge. We just filmed a whole lesson on that, and here it is. This is called,
Yeah, what is it called?
it's called the Woods at Mulberry Hill, I think.
I think that's what we ended up with, Mulberry Hill.
Mulberry Hill. So
18 by 24 is what-
18 by 24 is the
This was
actual
the
final.
sketch.
This was the sketch that we did, and then I turned around and created. It was like over almost 7 hours of video and filming it to create this 18 by 24. That's one of our newest lessons that's going to be coming up in the Academy. Now is the time to become a member. This would be, you get this finished for somebody for Christmas, it would make a great gift, wouldn't it? So, that being said, we're moving back
to the
along
flowers.
to our picture. And let's see. Somebody wrote us the other day. No, it's so cute. I gotta say, they said, I signed up for your lessons and I can't see them on your website. Well, guess what, you guys? They're not the lessons. We have monthly and annual subscribers, or you can try us for a week for $7. But signing up for the new $10, $9.95. Signing up for the newsletter doesn't get you access to the lessons. Just a quick bulletin, okay? So anyway, if it's good to have a newsletter, but we don't always get those out. Probably the most of our news, it's just phthalo blue and white here. Probably the most of our news is, we put most of our news on Facebook, I don't know, it's just easier. And
Are you still planning on doing the Alaskan seals on rocks?
I'm going to do the Alaskan seals on rocks.
They are so cute.
We're going to do the Alaskan seals on rocks. We're going to do all kinds of things. We've got so many things to do. We have, and this last trip we took, my goodness, the lessons we have from that are amazing. Here's our little stem here. Love that. It's all really fun. Just painting is fun to us, and we really like it, and it's exciting. One of the things I absolutely love about having an art academy the way we do, from the one cookie lessons, the easiest lessons, to the box of cookies like you just saw with Mulberry Hill, was that it gives me an outlet as an artist to, it absolutely gives me an outlet to be able to try to paint different things. Publishers, for instance, I don't know if we got a lot of book readers in our group, I bet we do, and you all have your favorite authors. Well, for instance, even publishers of authors really rein their they rein their people in pretty tight. For instance, if you're writing romance novels, they don't want a murder mystery, Agatha murder mystery out of you, unless you've tied it into somehow to a romance and you've stretched it quite a bit. They don't want that. And the same thing with art publishers. If you've gotten famous painting cowboys and on horses, they don't want to see any garden street scenes from you. And what happens to artists that get, kind of, and it's a tough thing, because you get, this is kind of a light purple I'm doing here in case you missed it. It's kind of a tough thing, because what happens to artists, and it really almost is tragic, is that you get a publisher and then they get very bossy really quick. And they say, okay, we only want to see this from you. Back when I was being published, I had several publishers, Canadian Art Prints and Felix Rosenstyle, United Kingdom, but I also had some other publishers, and the big thing was, I'm sorry, we only want to see these things, and no, we don't want you to be painting this other stuff. Well, part of the fun for me of being an artist, and I bet for you too, right, is not having, is having the creative freedom to paint whatever you feel like, whenever you feel like, and not have someone dictate to you, well, that's not selling this week, I wouldn't paint that, right? That's real freedom to me as an artist. That is just the best freedom ever. And you'll notice I'm dry brushing over a little purple now, kind of a pale lavender color.
Hey, we'd like to thank Eric for using the PayPal system to make a donation. Eric, greatly appreciate that.
Oh, Eric, that is so kind. We appreciate it very much. For those of you who are watching us live, one of the great benefits of the live viewers is that you can get onto PayPal, and just through YouTube, and do a donation, or you can come over to our website, well, if you don't even have to be live to do that, our live show, our website, and just where it says donate to that. And I'll tell you, we're not talking a lot of money here, but this all is appreciated. That it kind of shows your appreciation for us, and also it just it helps. We do helps cover the cost and expense of all the paints that we buy and canvases. It also helps us scholarship other artists to our academy, maybe, who aren't able to, for whatever reason, join, but they want to, they really would benefit from the lessons. All kinds of things happen with your donations, and we appreciate them very much. So that want to say that.
You notice, you notice our new setup. We moved the palette to the right side after 3 years. I'm not sure why. Why did we start off on the left?
I don't know. I give up. Why did we do that? I don't know.
Well, you did it when I was still in Michigan.
Well, I think it had to do. I think it had to do with the way the table and camera was set up in the other room. But I think that's why we did it originally.
And we just never changed it. Well, we started filming, and we're doing the bigger canvases, and we needed to do some down on the table. And I said, well, we're switching things around, so we just thought we'd try it. And it looks like the watermark's not bothering you. It's in the lower right corner, and you're not even close to that. So this is a new setup.
Yeah, it's our new setup.
Hope you like it.
So yeah, I like it. I think it's kind of good. And it's just
you've only put your hand in there a couple
now I'm
times.
getting into a little white. Now I'm starting to add some white petals, and I'm just sort of dragging the brush around here like that, holding it almost vertical, and then bending it that way to get the lighter petals. And then clean it off. So you put just paint on one side of the brush like that. And this is just sort of how you do it. And then you sort of just bend the brush and it'll drop a little bit of white like that. See? Ooh, cool, huh? Look at that. Isn't that neat? It's a great trick. Really good for waves and water and stuff. Okay, so here it is like this. I'm going to bend it this way. And going to bend it this way. There you go. Then if you get too much, you can come behind it with another color like that. Just sort of, then you've got this little bit of white where you want it. Okay, so this is all great fun. Yeah, so, we did a lot of that, for instance, you remember that story about you asked about why we ended up doing that. It's a story about a family, and they made a point of having, Easter dinner together. And they always had a nice honey-baked ham for it, they always baked a ham. And the son asked his wife, he says, I don't understand why you guys, trim the end off the ham. I said, what's the reason for that? She says, I don't know, that's just how our family does it. That's how, so I'll ask my mom. And so he does. He asked his mother-in-law. I said, why do you guys do that? And he goes, oh, I don't know. She says, ask Grandma. She said, I learned how to cook from her. So he goes up to her and he says, well, why do you guys do that ham cutting thing? Why do you cut the end off the ham? Okay. And she says, well, I don't know why those guys do it. I did it because my pan was too small. I didn't have a big enough pan. I used to cut the end off so it would fit in the oven. Well, I think that's kind of a little bit not this dissimilar to when you're going, why did you put the palette over here? Because I'm left-handed. It's much more convenient for not have to reach over here. I mean, I'm right-handed. I quite like having the
I don't know why we ever did that, but
well, I know you keep saying that, but I think it's because of the way the table was set up, and we originally went live.
So many years ago.
So many years ago when
on
we
the
did
Jigsaw
that.
platform.
Yeah, and that's how. And in the other studio on a table, and the camera was overhead. It was a whole different setup. It's amazing to me. What you do, isn't it? So see how
what size brush are you using right now? 3/8?
This is just a 3/8. Don't you just love these angle brushes? And I want to give a shout out to the brush guys. And I say that because
we like the brush guys.
well, we like them, but here's why I like them. They have been very well. Of course, they've been very supportive of me. So what's not to like, right? But for sure. But beyond that, they're very supportive of you. In other words, it's true that sometimes you can go to Dick Blick or Jerry's or someplace like that, and they have a brush sale, and that's very nice. But the brush guys have, from day one, since I first had a relationship with them, and they knew that I was on YouTube, and I said, sure, I'll talk about them for sure, because they will, if you use my name, Ginger Cook, they will give you a 5% discount off your total off your order. Well, that's pretty nice, don't you think? I think that's pretty nice, because it's just a little bit, now I'm doing shadows here, see this? Starting to put this a little bit darker under here like that. So I started to, kind of fold this in. So, I think that's not, and that's all the time. It's not just on sale day. Does that make sense? It's just, and I think that, they carry my daughter's, the Art Troopers brushes, and they don't care what brushes you buy on there. I have a teacher page, and we need to update it because I've used more brushes than that now. But the thing with this is that they don't care. You can go all over their site, and you can still get it, right? It can be Art Trooper brushes or whatever. They'll still give you the discount. Well, come on, you guys. That's pretty nice. You have to admit, right? I think that's just swell, and I think we ought to just reward the vendors that reward us, and it's consistent. And we talk about the tub of towels, not because they pay us any money to say it, because I think they're a great product, but they do send us some towels so that we can give them away. Little tub of towel things here. When we do our drawings, we always just send out some of these, and
They're great.
and these are great. Because we love these things. I use them all day long. And, just before the show, I was looking at them going, good grief, I've got, wow, I've got real, I'm going to darken this right here. I've got real paint all over my arms. I don't even know how that happened. Well, of course, you guys know how it happened. But, I thought I'd cleaned up, and there's all this paint. So I love these people, right?
Hey, we'd like to thank Linda and Castilla for the donations coming through the PayPal system. Really appreciate that. Ginger, what do you think of using, I'm going to spell it, Y-R-O-L-E red as a primary red? Yarl?
Yarl red. Again, I did a video on Adventures in Red.
Go look at that.
And look it up. Look it up.
I have no
You'll see that
idea.
I use naphtha red, but and most of the time I'm using CAD red 90% of the time anyway, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even using that other, those other ones. I think I had a little thing here like this. Something like this. A little bit of blue here. Here's a little bit of blue. I love all the colors in these flowers. To me, that's the way cool part, right? So, but, again, this comes down to color preference, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I think so, too. I think it comes down to color preference for sure. I think, sometimes, for when I'm doing something like this, I have to decide which came first, you know what I mean? Because when I kind of drew it on, I lost some of my darks, and now I'm kind of scrambling back here and deciding what's underneath and what isn't. But I think if you just don't overpaint this, you'll be fine.
That's called pyro?
Pyro red, pyroly red.
That's what that wide. Why can't people spell things like they're supposed to be?
Well, it all goes back to Latin and all these languages.
Well,
you ever watch those?
This here's English.
But you ever go back to to watch those kids on the spelling bee, and they're going, well, this was this Italian, Latin, Greek. It's a wonder anybody knows how to spell. Thank goodness.
I don't.
Thank goodness.
I can't even speak it.
Thank goodness that
we have Google.
We have Google. Absolutely.
And my Alexa and my
Echo, so I want these petals out here were nice and white.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Yeah, well.
Are you even online? Alexa? Alexa?
Sorry, I'm having
She's not online.
right now.
Good, I'll get to pick the one with the drawing, right?
No, Echo is.
Oh.
And Amazon is. I got plenty of devices, don't you worry. I got a complete staff over here.
Well, so you say,
I
right?
do.
Okay, so we're just kind of whitening this up here. See, we're just keep painting this stuff right like that. There we go. So it's just all a matter of lights and darks. Fun, right?
It's looking good.
Yeah, I think it didn't. You know, you'd think it doesn't take that long. Let's put in one of these. He had a couple of petals going on the ground like this.
I thought that was your touch, because you always do
No,
that.
he does it too. See, I like this man immediately. He understood what has to be. I think he had it right here. This first petal, and then he's got one here and then one over here, and then he had this sort of little purpley blue color that was this sort of highlight in the.
Hello from the Philippines. Hello, Philippines.
Hi, Philippines. That's you know, I have been to the Philippines. I went there years ago. What a beautiful country that is. And I learned something. I'm going to shout this out to the. Can I shout something out to the Philippines?
Sure.
There is a guy on YouTube who is an American, and he has about 14 million viewers or something. And what he's been doing for the last few years, since his daughter was a baby, was showing his kids learning to swim underwater. And he films it underwater. And they go around to different pools, and he has all these viewers, right? And if you have 14 million viewers, then you're getting some serious advertising money, you know. When you have 60,000, not so much. But when you have 14 million, you have ads, you're getting compensated somehow, or rather than probably the swimming people, all kinds of stuff, right? But I had the greatest idea for someone that lived in the Philippines. You want to hear what it was?
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, we could top that, you guys. All you have to do, and I tell you what, just a cell phone camera, and apparently there's a village in the Philippines, because I heard this from a Filipino who, we were commenting on the ice carvings on the ship, and he said they hire specifically this group of Filipino men and women who come from this one village, and they have contests. Even their 10-year-old kids can carve fruit and all kinds of ice, and you know, and watermelons and cantaloupes, and apparently they're all just masters at it. And I'm saying, I'd watch. Wouldn't you watch if somebody were to just every week show a bunch of kids carve art, you know, and carving this stuff?
I would. I think that'd be cool.
I would watch it, and I think that. I think that would go viral, and you know, because I don't know anybody else in the world. I mean, if you think that this is so famous that the cruise companies know about it and hire to have that, you go on one of those ships, and for sure what they've got is they've got people that are, that's their whole job, is to just sit there and do all the ice sculptures and all the fruit carvings and stuff. And they all come, and he says they all come from this one village. So if you're high from the Philippines, that's my tip for the day, because I really think that if you could
set you free.
I think you would do great.
So our goal is to get 14 million subscribers by the end of the year.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, we would love it. I'm sorry we're not swimming underwater, or we can't
but
show
I did
you
offer singing. We did offer singing.
Well, the person that sings, incidentally, I want to thank Judith Guitar. She's the one that wrote the song at the end of our show. It's not me singing it, it's Judy. And she's also the one that's made the Pinterest board where a sane person
what it is today.
What it is today, because I mean, I'm not a sock folder. I'm just saying my organizational skills have seen better days. Well, they never had a good day. What are you talking about?
I'm going to say, wait a minute, did I miss this one?
They never had a good day. So, but Judy's very organized. Well, she was in the military. They make you learn that stuff, right? Don't they?
I think so.
She was in the military. She was probably born like that. She was probably born organized.
She's probably a sock folder.
So, yeah, probably like you. She's probably a sock folder, which is, you know, impressive in itself. I'm going to darken that a little bit and darken this a little bit here. And I think we're about done. I hope this was fun to paint. Was it? You know, I don't know. When we'll get down to the drawing. I don't want to keep this too long for John. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
I want to get enough of this
Don't
painted.
worry about me.
Well, of course I'm worried about you, John, because the doctor said for you not to overdo it. So, you know, there you go. Just sort of some lights and darks. And let's see, what do I have to have right here? I can see that now. I need to have this light right here.
That color has totally changed on the palette cam again.
Has it?
I have to get another camera.
So, somebody else wrote and said, you know, I was doing your tutorial, and I can't get my colors right. And your tutorial, it looks so bright. let me tell you something. If you're looking at anything on an iPad, it's backlit. So whatever, you'll never get those colors if you're looking at an iPad or on your phone, because the phone and the iPad are backlit with the photograph, so they're going to look brighter. So take a deep breath and go, oh, good, I didn't realize that, right? And there was a little thing right here, too.
Yeah, reflective is not as bright as transmitted or transparent. Lit from behind.
Yeah, and then no two monitors are showing the same thing. I'm going to put a little, since our color surprise, a little bit of red up in here. And let's see, this just a little darker. It's going to darken this thing.
What does azo mean? I got a gift called Yellow Medium Azo Liquid HB, Liquitex HB.
Well, azo's a yellow color.
So that's the pigment itself.
That's a cut. Yeah, that's yellow.
That's the piggy.
Yeah, azo's yellow. Yeah, okay. So I think we'll just call this done for now.
Well, we should
right?
put up our entry form for today's activities.
Yeah, we want to do that. We're also, remember, today we're going to be drawing for, if you're watching this live, just for a live audience only, this is an original painting I did. It's a lesson on our Art Academy, one of our Pumpkin Patch Kids. And I think this is really fun, and we're going to give this original Ginger Cook painting to someone. It will be signed by me.
That is a true collector's item.
Yeah, and we just think this is really fun, and that is probably one of those lessons that will be discontinued because it was done on one of the other cameras, and so you will have the only one. Ooh, right? And then, of course, this contest has been ongoing for all our viewing audience from the time we launched it a few weeks ago, and we will be giving this away tonight too. We'll do a drawing for that. So those are the two drawings we're going to have happen in a few minutes. Okay.
Hey, Joanne, we'd like to thank you for the donation. Get some rest, folks. XOXO.
Oh, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. That's really very nice. So can't know how much we appreciate that. And
Had another donation come in from Facebook. From PayPal.
Thank you.
Essential Touch, which I never know who that is.
Wow. So
good
thank
to
you
hear
very much.
again.
I'm going to get a
Peace out.
little.
Oh, Lenny. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you very
that.
much. This is my tub of towels thing here.
Tub of towel thing.
Well, look, that's my
That's
tub.
your tub of towel tub.
That tub of towel tubs, right? And you know what I used them for today? I had them in the bathroom, and I was going to spray my hair with something. And
So you use tub of towels instead?
No, no, but you're close. That can of hairspray was all clogged up, and it was like a little puddle of hairspray blocking the nozzle. And I used one of these to clear out the hairspray can.
And did it do it?
Well, it did, but it didn't do anything for the hole on the inside, so it was still a lost cause. But I had a good thought. It did take the stuff away. It did remove the stuff around the outside of the can. It just wasn't enough.
I believe that's what they use a pin for.
Well, I didn't have a pin, so there's no hairspray. But it was a good thought. It's just easier to...
Oh, that's all right. The hair still looks lovely tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. And, but anyway, these are just, besides cleaning up paint, this is how I clean my hands. I just absolutely, and then some of our moderators on our club page were talking about how they actually clean house with them. What
Are you kidding me?
No, that's what they're for,
That's not what they're designed for. They're designed for artists. Come on now.
Yeah, so they actually talking about how well they clean their house. I do use them in my bathroom to clean a shower and the toilet and all kinds of stuff, Find them very fast and easy to use, and they're biodegradable, and have all kinds of nice things to say about them. So I do like them, but what I really like is how that they can get, rather than take a scrub brush to my hands.
To your delicate hands.
And they just clean them up so nice. So, all right, so let me
Check
get a
pictures,
pen.
can't find the traceable. Where's the traceable at?
The traceable would be under
YouTube?
2018 YouTube lessons. That would be on the top, one of the top boards. I think about the fourth one over from the top, depending on what you're viewing it on. And you just go under resources, printable. So that's where it would be. Okay, and I think I see a couple. I see a couple more things I want to do, but I'm going to just sign this now.
So then you can go ahead and do them afterwards.
And I might, do it. There's a couple more tweaks. If you really, honestly, you need probably a little bit longer time to do something like this, but still, it is fun to do it.
I printed out the traceable. It came out small. How do I make it bigger? In your printing program, You have to tell it to fill the page or what percentage size. You can make it bigger through your printer program.
Well, how do people know that stuff, John? Because I
They
don't
just
know
ask.
that stuff. Well, I know they asked you, but I mean,
Oh.
you know what I mean? It's just all
I don't
very,
know. It just comes naturally to me.
Well, I know, but it's all very frustrating to the rest of us. You know what I mean? 'Cause it doesn't come naturally. I mean, and the thing of it is that you start pushing buttons and bad things can happen. Have you ever noticed that? You
That's
start
true.
pushing buttons.
I've
and,
had to fix a lot of computer from people pushing bad buttons.
So you can see, I think that was a very good question.
It's an excellent question.
You know,
Hey, Becky made it tonight. Hi, guys and gals. Made it. Better late than never.
Hi, Becky. Well, this is absolutely fun. So this is, again, this is one of our old dead guys.
Art Thomas is saying my wife is using my tub of towels to clean the house. Art, commandeer them, buddy. They go in the art room.
Yeah, well, we have our own, here we've got to put a little bit of white on this one. And you about ready to do a drawing here for the
I am ready
picture?
to do the scream.
Are you ready to do the screen? All right,
But I
let's
think
just,
other people are still entering the other one.
they're still entering the other one, but we do have something for the scream, huh? Right, like
We do
this?
have something for the screen.
Okay, I want to just make sure I
You
have
gotta
this
find the
dark
screen.
enough. Here's what, you know, here's our little bit of color. And then down here too. Okay, all right. So we got these double whammy on the roses, yeah. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
And I always see a little bit of light that I can put somewhere. You know what I mean? Because it just a little tap of light here somewhere. And anyway, there you go. All right, I'll stop. All right, so here, let me move this out of the way. I hope you guys had fun painting that. Here's the scream. And again, the lesson for that, the tutorial for that is on YouTube. And we always said, what makes you scream? This is the blue screen of death. Maybe you have a computer nerd in your family that finds that to be very true, or maybe it's you or somebody else. What are some of the fun things people have put in this one too? One person put in a bunch of ghosts back here. Somebody
Goats?
else, ghosts like
Goats?
Like Halloween ghosts.
Oh, ghosts.
That made them scream.
I
Somebody
didn't know
else.
why goats would make anybody scream.
I think somebody else put their mother-in-law. You know, spiders, all kinds. You know, what makes you scream? I think that's fun. So, again, this is original Ginger Cook, and who's the lucky winner of this, John?
Now, this one, the contest ran for close to a month, and we only had 256 entries. I'm surprised. We get that on a nightly draw, but we got it. Echo, pick a number between 1 and 256.
Your random number between 1 and 256 is 233.
What an excellent choice.
233 is the number. Wow.
That's what she said. I believe her.
Okay, and who was the lucky winner of this?
Veronica Simmons.
Veronica Simmons. Congratulations! If you
Is that
help.
somebody we know?
I don't know. She sounds like a person you'd want to know, though, doesn't she? Great
the
name.
name
Remember
Veronica?
Veronica? Wasn't that a Veronica and Little Archie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
See, it sounds like a name that we know, might know him. If I do know him, but I don't know him, I'm telling you what, I sat there for 2 hours on our last trip talking to a woman. I had no idea who it was. And she and I worked together for months in a painting party company. I'm just thinking, what is her name? She looks so familiar. Oh, it's so great to see you again, Ginger. I'm going, yeah, you too, for sure, right? That's all right. We had fun. And John standing there, I didn't introduce him because I couldn't think of who I was.
I knew that had to be a reason. I go, she doesn't know who she's talking to. I just love this. Let's see how she wiggles out of this one. And she kept wiggling.
I just wiggled. That's a terrible thing. And this isn't something that comes with old age. I mean, I would be 20 and this would happen to me, and I just never knew who.
Oh, it always happened to me.
I mean, I'd have a party and couldn't remember who the guests were I was introducing. The worst one was.
You couldn't remember the people you invited?
Well, I kind of knew them, but I just sometimes how names slip your mind. You just.
Yeah.
The kindergarten teacher came to me about cinnamon and said. My daughter, the art Sherpa, let's tell a story on her as long as we're slamming mom. And she said, she was like, because our kindergarten teacher lived across the street from us in Aspen, and she said, your daughter really has to start learning names of people. She keeps calling them that kid with the glasses or the, kid with the limp. just never, hey, kid with the glasses. Had all these names for them, but not their name, right? Never bothered to learn their name. All right, so. All right, what do we got? So Veronica? That's perfect.
Veronica Simmons is the winner. I don't know if Veronica's on tonight. I'm kind of scrolling
If
through.
not, we'll email you, Veronica, and when we do, we're
remember
going
to do that. We can still have to shellac it.
Yeah, we still have to varnish it, so it'll be be sent off probably next week. And then
Yeah.
here we go. Here is our
Or the pumpkin.
Our pumpkin Halloween.
Pumpkin.
It's called Pumpkin Patch Kid on the tricycle.
Pumpkin Patch Kid.
So, got any entries for that?
222.
Okay, well, awesome.
I mean, that's almost as many as we had for the week long. Why do we bother? Why do we bother?
I don't know.
I don't either. All right. Echo. Pick a number between 1 and 222.
Your random number between 1 and 222 is 31.
31.
You went the other way, totally.
Who went the other one? So who's number 31?
Dawn Coughlin.
Oh, Don, this is awesome. Don's one of our Academy members. I certainly know that name.
So you do know that
Congratulations.
name.
Yeah, I do know Don. Hi, Don. Awesome. Good
Has
for
she
you.
sent anything for a pack?
Yeah, she has.
Now, what is
Lovely
a
artist.
pack? People don't know what a pack is.
PAC is personal art coaching. This is where our Academy members send me in their artwork, and we have a ticket system. They send me a picture of their artwork, and then I write them
Then you sneeze.
I do a little video of how they can improve it, I'll have a little sketch and so forth and go in. Sometimes I'll even, repaint the painting in one of my computer programs and then send it back and say, do these things and it'll look great. And they do those things and it looks great. It is just, it's like,
great.
It's like having me sit right next to you over your shoulder and say, paint there, do this, do that, now do
And you'll
this.
find yourself talking to the YouTube video as she's saying, do this.
Because it's like you and me all the time. Personal art coaching. It's probably the neatest thing, one of the neatest things we do, because we have gotten, one of the reasons I'll have to say about Alicia was that she was diligent in sending back the comments, and then I'd correct them
Back
again,
and forth,
back and forth. I think the record's like 10 times. We're usually 1 or 2 times and people get it, but sometimes if they keep going, we'll just keep pushing it. And we got to say a shout out to my friend Jennifer Chase, who wrote us today and said that a year ago she was doing very simple stuff on painting parties, and she showed me her final piece today of the Tuscan window box that we have on YouTube. That was one of our releases. She did a phenomenal job on that. And
Beautiful job.
And she said the Academy has just changed her life. So anyway, enough of that. So we'll definitely, Dawn, we're going to send that to you, but we can't do it unless you write us, and we don't automatically have your address. So we need that if you'd like this to go to your house, okay? So good to know.
Otherwise, I'm sure Sammy or Chester will keep it in the holiday spirit.
And so hope everybody has a great week. We will be back again live, hopefully
Soon.
Next Sunday. And remember, next Monday,
What's next Monday?
Daniel Elliott's coming as our guest artist, and he's going to. I'm going to have him just paint something, and we may
Randomly.
just put it in a fast auction or something. But he's going to paint something, but he's going to answer all the questions on how to turn your art, from a hobby into a business, and how you do that, how to be successful at that. I think that's helpful. And then any other questions you've got at him, because he's like he's like an encyclopedia of art supply knowledge. So look forward to seeing you next week for that, 7:30 Central Time, and next Sunday at 12:30.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No. Anybody else have any last questions before we say
Any last
goodnight?
questions? Thanks so much, John Ginger. Love you guys. Oh, thanks. We love you guys too. You can be part of our 1.4 million people we want. Is that what he had? 1.4 million? Or 14 million?
Who has 14 million?
The swimmer.
Oh, the Swimmers guy's got 14 million.
Oh,
viewers.
we need 14 million. We want 15 million. We want more.
I don't know. And to me, I'm not knocking it, because I think it's a great thing he's doing. But for me, just, watching, for some people, maybe
It's
watching
like grass
painting is a
growing,
little bit
though.
like watching grass grow. For me, watching
Or paint drying
paint drying, whatever.
without a hairdryer.
I don't know, but we'll see. And so anyway, we look forward to everybody. Welcome all our new members into our Facebook club, Ginger Cook Facebook Club. Be sure you remember that's free to join, and you can show us your artwork. I love to see what you're all painting. I like to see if you had fun. We love your comments, and have a fabulous night. And let's get John to bed.
Sammy, Judy, take us out of here.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.